welcome back to another Northwood Tales
Spoopy
podcast where we're getting real with you.
Yes.
It's been a heck of a year.
Yeah. When was the last podcast we posted?
We did like 2 after after we moved.
Yeah.
In February.
So it was, yep. But
With
yeah,
Lauren.
it's been like 9 months.
And let us catch you up
We got some,
on the chaos that 2020 has been to everyone.
Lukewarm tea.
Lukewarm
Personal
tea. That we're just a bunch of hot messes.
Mm-hmm. As is anybody probably from 2020.
Anyone who lives paycheck to paycheck has had the best year of their
yeah.
entire lives.
Did you want to start with your recap?
Oh,
Like what are some big things that have happened
let's
to you?
recap our trauma. I am now on anxiety medication. I'm in the anxiety medication club with you and Lauren.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. Yeah, people are now focusing on the anxiety just this year. I've been dealing with it my whole life.
Your whole life.
Only discovered it in 2010. But here we are.
I find that interesting that now they care when it affects everyone, not just some. And
yeah, they care a lot more this year.
Because it's affecting the people who never thought it would affect.
Yep. Now they get to feel what I feel every day, which I actually haven't had any like really stressful things happen this year. Like normal stressors. Mm-hmm. And then maybe just worried about like my grandma's getting COVID is like the only other major stressor. I wasn't worried about myself getting it.
I'm kind of worried because like I've gotten like this weird flu the past couple times.
Yeah.
And each time I'm like, okay, is it COVID? And then not so much suffering in the moment of, but like what are the effects after? Because no one knows what's going on.
I've heard so many different things that I'm like,
things. Like some people are still hospitalized.
Yeah.
With just the effects, not so much that they're still infected.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so scary.
Yeah, the long term. Well, and you have like not underlying conditions, but you've had some like lung issues in the past.
I have scar tissue in my right lung from when I had pneumonia, and then I think I have some form of an undiagnosed asthma.
Yeah. So you're kind of not high risk, but like you have like things that could potentially knock you out for a while.
Yeah, if I get it, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Not so much like just treat it like a cold, because I also have acid reflux that's chronic, so I have GERD, and that you're more mucusy.
That probably doesn't help with the buildup.
Every morning,
trying to breathe.
I'm coughing out just the nastiest of stuff. But I think that's the worst of it.
So far, so good. We've made it to December without getting the COVID. I only tested once and it was negative because I've only had one cold like situation. It was just a sore throat and a massive, massive headache. But other than that, you had like
I've
2 or 3.
Twice. I've tested twice. So where I work for, I guess you would say a tourist attraction. It's a botanical garden, really. So people come in all the time. And even though you're like double masked, you have the plastic shields, the plexiglass shields. So
you guys got those?
Yeah.
My work never put those in. They didn't see the need.
Your work doesn't care.
They don't care. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So even though we're pretty safe, we still use the same restrooms that the public uses.
Oh yeah.
And we're still using the same entrances and exits. So it's
And do you guys hire out cleaners? We have somebody who comes once a week and cleans our building, but like otherwise everything else is like, if you want to sanitize everything, here is the disinfectant wipes that we finally were able to obtain. Yeah. You can wipe down the tables and whatnot.
Yeah, we have our facilities, they come in, since it's technically through the university, they have to clean like every hour. They have to like do like a wipe through.
Okay.
But it's airborne, so they're not coming through with like stuff shooting in the air.
And I think that's what we've learned too, as like a whole, at least in America.
Yeah.
If we've kind of caught on after like everybody bought out all the disinfectant stuff. They're like, actually, it's
airborne.
Yeah. Like or the studies have shown it's more of like the airborne stuff that gets you from just the droplets, not them staying on the surfaces and you touch it. Like that's probably what I got, was like a head cold, or like I get strep every year.
Well, and more people recently are getting the flu, and now they're freaking out because they're like, is it COVID? And it's like, no, it's you're lucky that it is just the flu, but it like the flu still sucks.
Oh yeah, it does. I hate throwing up. I will avoid it at all costs.
Yeah. So that's the most fun with dealing with COVID.
Yeah.
Besides, we live in, I guess, for the sake of a better definition, Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We live in a big city.
We did that podcast was after the riots. So we kind of discussed that. I don't remember. It was probably one of the last 2 podcasts we posted. We kind of touched on that, but Minneapolis and St. Paul has had a rough year this year.
Yeah.
Not only with COVID, but with racism and like societal stuff.
Yeah.
It's
so COVID came around early spring, and then all the grocery stores were empty. We couldn't find anything.
Because I was out on vacation, and I think we've talked about this, but I was on vacation in February, and we had gotten the news maybe halfway through vacation. So we were scared we weren't going to get on a plane to go home. We were going to get stuck.
You were going to get...
Which would be fine, because I was on an island. But my parents probably wouldn't have wanted to foot the bill, and I don't think they would have. I didn't have like a work visa to like work at anything. And plus they were going to be shutting stuff down anyways. So that would have been rough. But yeah, we just got... No, it wasn't February. It was March.
Yeah, because it was...
Like the second week of March, because my sister's birthday is where we went.
I think March 13th was... So the 12th was my last day of work on site. And then we all started remotely. Like a couple weeks after, because the first like 2 weeks they're like, okay, here's like some basic office work, because no one really knew how long it was going to last.
Right. Yeah. It could have just been like we were all trying to learn from each other, all the different countries and whatnot.
Well, and especially this is a new version of COVID. Like there's different,
or the SARS. Yeah.
So there's so
been
many
other
different types.
Yeah.
But this one, because they know nothing about it, they're like, so yeah, everyone just stay home.
Well, they didn't know how deadly it was going to be. And then obviously it's more deadly than the flu, which that's a whole other topic within itself of like all the conspiracy theories that I don't believe in. And already statistically, it's been we're approaching a year of COVID. And statistically it's already like 3 times as bad as the flu, if not more. I don't remember what the numbers were.
When COVID started here, when we first shut down, it was only a couple thousand cases like that were like
when was
terrifying.
The peak for us in Minnesota? Was it April? The first wave, that first peak, was it April?
I don't remember.
Or was it May?
I'm gonna say May, because
that was like our first like
we were
big
really
peak.
good. And then I think everyone started getting comfortable and more lax, and then that's why you're seeing quadruple the cases now versus when it started.
November was bad.
And we're still opening. Like we're opening everything.
We're relaxing, and I think the governor has to do that just to appease people, because everyone's stir crazy. We get it, but also like
they could have helped people more.
Yeah, and do you not have family members that are high risk, or even like people who aren't still have died from this?
I mean, out of the like taking the actual data and statistics, we are extremely lucky that none of like everyone in our family is still here.
Yeah, the only people who have got it in my family is like immediate family. Actually, even my extended, like my first cousins and stuff, and my aunts and uncles. The only people that have got it is my brother and his girlfriend, and she got it because she was working at a gas station part-time, or full-time, I don't remember. But yeah, that's probably how she got it, just because there is so many people still, you need to go to a gas station for stuff.
Oh yeah, you have to fill up your car because people are still required to work and do stuff. You have to get groceries. Not everyone is lucky and lives in an area that can get groceries delivered, or have enough money to Grubhub every night.
Yeah, right. Like it's expensive.
Must be
I
nice.
went through that phase. My credit card
Right.
is hurting this year. Not only from that, but like other things. Because
Well, and it's also scary because you're like, okay, we live pretty much paycheck to paycheck. And what happens if I get furloughed, or
Yep.
if your place shuts down? How do we make
Yep.
it work?
Yep.
You know,
And that's
so it's like, how do you save money when you're living paycheck to paycheck
right. Yeah, and
And-
we have
in a pandemic?
Yep. I'm so glad they what did they just stalled the payments for student
Oh
loan
my
debt
God, for another year,
yeah, well, I don't know about
I-
that. It's good until January.
2021,
Yeah, well, this next month
right? But
for now, but like the whole year it was basically put off, thank goodness,
I mean, look,
because that's a whole nother payment we have to worry about.
yeah,
Yeah, but I
Let's
think they bumped
see.
it out one more year, but then Biden's gonna be coming into the presidency, so
Yeah.
he could change that and still kind of keep it at a lull for right now. And with us only receiving,
so we get an extra month
yeah,
to like figure out our stuff.
and we're running on $1,200 of a stimulus check, maybe $1,800 before New Year's. I don't think we're gonna get that other $600 that they've approved until after the new year. So that they gave us the people who are struggling, and there's people worse off than us.
Oh,
like
100%.
for sure.
There's, people
That
who have
they-
zero money coming in and they're having to work at a gas station or a grocery store now just to
And-
make ends meet. And I'm like, it wasn't our fault
Yeah.
that our country had to be shut down. It's our administration.
Yep.
Because they knew when this was happening.
And they don't want to assist us. So
Exactly. So it's not,
our
it's not
government
our
is
fault.
garbage. I can't get too far into this.
Right.
Otherwise it's just gonna, yeah. Nope, can't do
Yeah.
that. But
So like 2020 was not anyone's year.
nope.
If you sit and you're like, yeah, 2020 was my year, I am questioning how
Right?
you where you
were
live.
you on planet Earth?
Yeah, were you one of the lucky ones and you're up in the
Were you in New Zealand?
Oh,
Were you in
please.
Australia? Well, Australia still has been masking and stuff because I follow some people on social.
Yeah, but New Zealand
But
is
they've been pretty good.
0 case. They got
Was it
none.
completely zero?
Yeah.
I thought they had some and they were just like nip that in the butt. Like,
Well, yeah, so she was good and then a couple came and then she's like, "Okay, we're shutting down." And then now they are free of cases.
So New Zealand's the only person.
Yeah.
If you
And we
did
can't
have a
even
good
leave.
year.
We can't even leave to like go there. Like
No.
we're still stuck here.
No. Yeah, they've closed
Rightly
a lot
so.
of
I mean,
the
we
borders.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're flying right now for leisure, like stop it.
Yeah.
Like people travel for work, which I totally get because
Yes.
you need to work in order to survive in our society nowadays.
And
But-
we're lucky to still have jobs.
Oh,
so
we are.
that's a positive of 2020.
The fact that we're both customer service,
Yep.
like we are technically essential in our
Yep.
departments.
I had a paper that my boss, the owner, gave us.
Yeah, that's right.
That in case anybody did stop us, I was part of Essential because
Yep.
I work with tile and like countertops, but we were considered like
Construction.
construction
Yeah.
and remodel and
Yep.
stuff like that,
I
which
wasn't
we've
allowed
had
to
a
leave.
good year, surprisingly. Like I get paid commission and an
Well,
hourly.
that's because everyone's stuck at home and they're
Yes.
like, I hate where I live.
And they're seeing everything in their house and they want to change it. They haven't went on vacations this year. They have money saved
Oh,
for
yeah, that's
that.
right.
So that's what people are
And
spending.
you work in a location where there's a couple rich people living around.
They're close by, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, so I've actually haven't seen that bad of a drop. There was a little bit for like paycheck wise, but then it went kind of up, and then, but they did lay people off. Like there
That's
was a couple
spooky.
of ladies that they had to let go
That's right.
because they were nervous,
Yeah.
and then everything just picked right back up again. Like it slowed down this month because Christmas.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Overall, I'm surprised it's been that good.
Yeah. And everyone, like, we'll get on a whole spiel about customer service in a different one. But people, they're getting stir crazy, which I understand. some people can't handle just staying at home. I can.
Oh yeah, we
I
get
love
tire
staying at home.
kickers. It's easier for you guys to get tire kickers because that's literally what they do is they can walk around and look.
Yeah.
If
Which
you're
is
buying
good, you
tile, don't do that.
Right. Yeah. So like at least with like outdoor stuff you can still walk around and, but
Yeah.
like even some of the malls, like I understand that they're open because we gotta like do stuff. You know, you gotta still live,
Yeah.
but it's also, I mean, our cases just started to go down, but because of Christmas we have no idea if they're going to go back up.
Oh yeah.
Especially after New Year's Eve when everyone's intoxicated. They
Right.
don't care.
Yep. Well, especially when there's already like some of the social influencers that don't care and they have their party still, and they're making a living with the YouTube videos, but like modify it a little bit this year, people.
Yeah.
You're influencing younger generations. You shouldn't be out partying.
And it's not even their fault too, because like where our hometowns are more conservative.
Oh yeah.
And there's a whole political spiel with how you know certain parties are handling
Yep.
the virus.
If I go up north, northern Minnesota, a lot of people aren't wearing their masks.
Same.
And even recently,
northeast Wisconsin.
yeah, recently the past week or two, I've had 2 people come in without masks. Thank you.
So I guess for us 2020 wasn't the absolute worst.
We got lucky.
I guess so. For me 2020 wasn't horrible, but like as a creative person I'm like, oh, I would have more time to write and do stuff, but it's like I've had more time to write, but we haven't really made any films or any like big projects.
Creativity has been like a standstill for me because well, I've had a little bit of extra time because like our hours have kind of changed at work, but overall it hasn't been a whole lot of extra time. But yeah, it's just I've been at a creative block.
It's like I can't, like during kind of the I don't it's not like the peak of the pandemic, but when a lot of us were still working from home, we did shoot a short film with a couple of our friends.
End of May.
Yeah. And which was kind of interesting because when we started shooting, that's when the Black Lives Matter protests literally started that day.
Yeah, there was the lockdown and curfew and
when we were shooting. It was kind of spooky. And it was kind of one of those moments where you're like, okay, can we keep shooting? Or are we going to end up breaking some rules to shoot?
Yeah, there was a couple that I'm like, they're gonna pull us over, we're gonna get yelled at.
Well, especially when it was our last day of shooting, and in the middle of setting up for the next shot, we found out that they were shutting down the highways and the freeways.
Oh, yep, and we were south.
We were
Metro.
south. We weren't even close to being home.
Yeah.
And that was the fastest shoot I think we've ever done.
And it wasn't bad either.
It was all one takes. Every single shot, the wide shot, the mediums, the close-ups were all one takes. And that just proves how good that, our small crew is, that we're able to do one takes, and also the fact that we wouldn't be able to get home.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like adrenaline kicked in. Yep. At least 3 of us had to travel home. Yeah. The other
we were at their
crew
house.
members, we were on their
Luckily,
in their house
we
on
shot
site,
in their basement for a scene.
So it was just a couple of us from we had one car, right?
Yeah.
We just had one car. Yeah.
But we had to take all the back roads home because they literally
the highways were all
shut them down because of all the protests, because they were marching the freeways, which to make a point, sometimes you got to stop some traffic. I don't blame them one bit. I just wish it was a safer environment for them to to speak their minds. But it could have been worse. I mean,
it could have been worse.
Everything could have been a lot worse.
Another bright spot from 2020 is I adopted a dog.
So not only did we sneaky make a short film, but you adopted a monster puppy.
Yep. We got him at 10 to 12 weeks. I can't remember the exact week.
I don't think he was quite. I thought he was like 8.
No.
He was younger.
July 14th. We got him in September.
Okay.
So he was like 10 weeks, maybe 11. But now he's almost 6 months. So he is currently trying to eat everything on the couch right now that we're trying to podcast on. So he's in his adolescent stage of teenage years. So
he's a sweetheart, but he's also a monster.
yes.
His name is Benjamin. What is he? A terrier mix?
Yep.
You a monster.
Monster
boy.
Is bigger than a Russell right now. Bigger than a Boston. Not quite sure exactly what he is, but we're going to do a DNA test eventually to figure it out.
We can put photos of him and some videos of him on the Patreon so you guys can see what he looks like.
If you guys are interested.
He's having a tantrum right now.
He's very bitey right now.
That's because we're not giving him enough attention, but he's literally on us. I see how it is. So, I mean, overall, as a 2020 recap, this wasn't the worst year in the world. For some, it was the absolute worst thing in the world. For some who have a lot of money and don't have to work and commute and they can just be artists at home, it's probably the best year.
Right.
Like, there's a couple musicians who are able to put out art, like
there's been
actual albums.
Yes.
And art, and they're able to do things.
Because Taylor Swift released, 2 albums this year?
Yeah. Right, 2?
I think so. Did Ariana Grande just run... Is she scheduled to release one too or something?
I don't know, but she's getting married.
I know. She's engaged again.
But, once we... I mean, what is it? 2021 is in... How many days? Like 2 weeks?
Just about 2 weeks.
So in 2 weeks, we got to come up with some goals.
Yes.
I mean, everyone does it every year. They're like, I'm going to be better next year.
Yes. Every
Not
New
right
Year's.
now.
It's always, and I don't have any like goals for myself, like exercise wise. I'm not doing that. That's always bad when you do that.
I have gut issues. I can't.
I just know that if I haven't already like done like an ample amount, I'm not going to end up doing anything really. I have to ease back into everything. But that is not on my list of goals.
No. I think really I have 2 goals right now, and that's to shoot our film of the mind that we have been honestly working on for like 3 years.
Yeah. And everything's basically done. It's just the set building.
Yep, we just got to build some walls and some puzzle boxes, and we're
just
done.
Shooting in general. Yeah.
Which that's what kind of sucked, because at this time last year, I was like, okay, we can finally shoot, and we can shoot like the exteriors for the film with Lauren, and like it'll be great. We can get kind of the harder stuff done, because that scene is shot like in the wintertime. But then COVID happened, which with the film industry, everyone's really suffering, and they're putting in a lot of work. They're creating new positions in the film industry to protect people from the virus. Which, I mean, even when we shot that short with our friends in May, we were as careful as we could be. Everyone had masks. When we were outside, we were good. So we only had one interior scene where we were masked the whole time.
Yep.
So everything else was outdoors, which was really good to keep people safe. But our crew was you, me, Lauren, and 3 others. Du Bois. And
they were all related too.
Yeah,
so
they literally they're all related to each other, brother and cousins.
Yep.
So, and they all kind of live together anyways, in a way.
Right. Yeah.
And we kind of live together too. So like with Lauren, so
we're in the same apartment
our 2
complex.
bubbles, making sure that we were safe. But next year, when this, if everyone can get the vaccine, then,
right.
Then things will actually start to open up and we can go back to somewhat normal. I don't know if we'll ever get to full normality.
Not for a while. It's going to be like a modified normal.
For like a year.
Yeah.
But the other issue is with this COVID, they think that you might have to get a shot every year. Like the flu.
Like a flu. Yeah.
So it's like you'll be getting 2 shots every year for the flu and COVID.
Yeah. And there's some people that I've had people that I run into too that are like, I'm not getting the flu shot. I'm not getting the COVID shot. And I was talking to a coworker about this, and she's like, well, if private practices like airlines and stuff are going to make it mandatory for you to show you got the vaccine, you're allowed on the plane, you're allowed to travel because you are keeping yourself and other people safe.
Yeah. It's kind of sucky when people have the conspiracies about it.
Yes. Well, it's like anti-vaxxers. Yeah. Like, just they think like certain vaccinations lead to like autism and stuff, but I don't think there's a whole lot of reporting on that, and I don't think that is the sole factor of why that occurs. But I'm a little nervous, but I'm still, if that means I can travel, I'm going to get it because that's one of my goals for next year is to be able to at least travel.
I want to see the catacombs.
Right. It'd be nice to go to Europe next year.
Yeah.
But as long as I go to some of the national parks, I'll be fine. That's at least like the minor goal is to go back to like Yellowstone or the Badlands.
It's on my bucket list to go to Yellowstone during the wintertime and to get video of a buffalo covered in snow. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
So
and I'm like, oh, we could do it now, but then, I don't
know if the park's open.
It is open.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know certain facilities are closed.
A lot of the roads are closed.
Yeah.
But they still have, I think, 2 of the roads open. But it's even like, is that safe?
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I know they need the money, but it's also like, I don't want to get anyone sick or get myself sick.
Yep.
But I think since we took such a long break on the podcast, I think that was more of a mental health thing. Because for half of the year, we didn't know what was going on with our country, with our jobs.
Right. We were just under a lot of stress.
Yeah. Which we were super lucky we moved before that happened.
Right. Yeah. We were all settled in.
Like spooky, right?
Yeah. So we're closer to family drive time wise to our hometowns. Yep. We're in the same building as one of our best friends and her husband.
Yeah.
So we had like a support system.
Yeah. So I think overall it's better here.
Yeah.
But I think overall the big picture is we couldn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing too. We wanted to move in, explore the area to know like what we can do. And we didn't have time to explore anything. We were able to go
to the Art Institute twice.
Yeah.
Before they shut everything down.
I went once. Were you with me?
No,
did I go by myself?
You went by yourself.
Yep. During COVID, I went, and everyone was masked up, and they had you sign up for a ticket time. Didn't have to pay. It was still free, but just so they could regulate people in there. And it was so nice. It was quiet. People left me alone because of social distancing.
That's nice.
Oh. I'm gonna be making so many weird faces once the mask mandate is gone.
I feel like it's gonna be weird.
And now that people are like, oh, well, I don't have to social distance anymore. I'm like, it's going to go back to normal with people right on my butt when I'm in the checkout line, when I'm like looking for groceries and they're right up in my business, breathing down my neck. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that.
But it's going to be weird leaving the house without a mask.
Yeah. It feels so normal now. Yeah. It's like a second skin.
Even sometimes like I'll wear my mask, not knowing I'm wearing my mask. It's like, oh yeah,
I forget it's on.
Yeah. So we're getting super used to it, which is weird.
Yeah. It doesn't help my skin. Breakout.
Yeah, that's been,
the breakouts have been bad.
Not alone on that one.
Plus of the stress and stuff like that. But no, the masks don't help with skincare. This ain't no sheet mask.
Oh, right. If only they could moisturize your skin and protect you from the COVIDs.
But yeah, my major goal probably is like just doing a little bit, even if it's within the States, just traveling.
Your poetry.
My poetry.
So it's a poet.
A wannabe poet.
No, you a poet. You got some poem.
I took some writing classes in college, but I've been buying a lot of poetry books and regular books this pandemic, but mostly poetry books just to kind of see what other people are doing, kind of getting an idea. Like it'll be freestyle stuff. I'm not good at like the haikus.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I haven't gotten like formally trained on how to properly write any of that, the sonnets and whatnot or whatever. I don't know the first thing about that, but like free verse poetry, I feel like anybody can do it. Not everybody can do it well, but everybody can do it. So that's another thing too. Seeing people's works that I don't necessarily like, but maybe others do. And then finding other people's that I love. Like I think they're just brilliant. So that's just nice to kind of begin the research, and then I've already started writing a bit. I already have a title picked out if I do end up like publishing something, even if it's small. So yeah, I guess that's a big goal for me too.
It's a big goal, but in order to reach the big goal, you gotta have like the little goals,
the little steps. Yep.
I think that's the hardest part about a goal is you have to work at the goal to accomplish the goal.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's, it's like you get home from work because you've been working for 8 hours and you're commuting because I have a 45-minute commute. So
it's basically an 8. It's not like a 9 to 5. It's like an 8 to 6. Day, yeah.
Including driving. So it's like 10 hours.
With the drive time. It's like you're working an 8 to 6 instead of, I'm working a 9 to 5. No, that's actually an 8 to 6.
And once you're home, you're like tired and because work was not great.
Got to make sure the pets are cared for, fed, watered.
Eat. You have to cook food. Eat. And then by the time you sit down, it's 7:45.
And you just want to relax and prepare yourself for the next work day.
I have 2 hours before I have to go to bed.
And then I'll get my, like a mayhem moment where I'm just like clean everything.
Oh yes, at like 11:30 at night. I hear you rustling.
Yep. I'm like, well, the house is dirty. I didn't have time to clean, but now I'm just like, it's too much. I just need to clean it now.
And even on weekends, like.
Yeah, even we both are lucky to have 2 days back to back off. Right? We get like an actual weekend.
We have the same schedule. Same with Lauren. Like, for us that we have the same exact schedule.
Yeah, we get the Sundays and Mondays off instead of normal Saturday, Sundays because I have to work on Saturdays.
Because Saturdays are huge in the cities.
Yeah, that's when you want the business. Yep. So I get it, but it's also, man.
Yeah.
Oh, another goal is to train the little man, the little puppy.
To get him.
To train him
to be an adult.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year, though, because I heard once they hit 2 years, he's fine. Yeah. He'll be okay.
I think it was tough with him is as soon as we got him, it was back to work the next day. Yeah. So, like, you couldn't even take, like, a puppy maternity leave.
No, and a good thing Lauren and Sam, they work different hours, and Sam was actually working, I don't know if he still is. Is he still?
Sam works from home, her husband.
So they were nice enough to come over and take the little guy out, because obviously he was, like, a baby. Now he can hold it in the kennel, and they don't have to come over, because he's 6 months, so he does pretty well. But we were lucky to have them here during that time, and I was able to take like a week off just to try to do some training and just acclimate him, but it was still not enough.
He's throwing another tantrum.
Yeah, he just wants all the attention.
Yeah, and then another goal, since we've resurrected the podcast, like, we're obviously not talking about a spooky thing right now.
No.
But even though 2020 was pretty spooky.
It's spooky in and of itself.
In some hindsight, it was not, the fun things that we would love to talk about. It was a nightmare. We have some off topics planned. Besides,
as well
like,
as
our
the spooky.
We always keep the spooky.
Yes. Yep. So we have at least one of those once a month. We're going to do the spooky stuff. We made a schedule.
And then some, like, fun stuff that really It's still in the same genre
Yeah.
of what we're talking about.
Yep.
But it's just a little more...
Some lifestyle, because we just want to discuss our own personal stuff and put a twist on it. But like lifestyle,
but like
some...
it's still themed.
Yeah.
So that's
still
gonna
folklore,
be to...
still spooky.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
So
it's still going to be a
kind
lot of spooky, but more personable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a little bit more comfy cozy. We've skipped doing videos now. We're just going to stick with
this
audio.
Is going to be... Oh, yeah, you don't see us. You don't see us right now.
Which is normal. We used to post on YouTube. I know we also have our podcast on Spotify. And
we'll still post on all the sites.
On
you
Apple.
just won't see what
on
we
iTunes.
look like.
Yes. Which is fine.
For the Patreon, we might do some videos for the Patreon. So you can actually see us.
A little bit more personable.
Yeah.
I have a Discord set up. I don't really know how to use Discord, so we want to try to get that going for people who do want to subscribe to our Patreon, so we can
talk to
people, because we miss as introverted as we are, we miss socialization and like talking to people, even if it's like virtual. Like I've been keeping in contact with friends and stuff, but it's still been hard, even via text and video calls and stuff like that. We want new friends. We want to grow our friendship and our community. So if you would like to join,
our pod,
I think it's just...
Our pod is on Patreon.
Yes, if you want to find us on Patreon, I think it's just the Northwood Tales. And I think the Discord...
We lowered the tiers too. So it's literally just $1.
If you want to help support us.
Just so you can talk to us and suggest fun things. And especially when we get into other of our favorite topics. To have an actual like back and forth conversation would be cool. But that'll be every Monday.
Yes.
So we switch the day as well.
And I think the Discord is just like Northwood Tales or something. I'll have to look it up, and I don't know how to link it on anything in the pod. So I'll figure that out. But find us on Patreon would probably be the easiest thing. We can go from there. Yeah. Or on YouTube, because I think we're still going to post the audio clips, so there's room for commenting and asking questions on there. So
so depending on where we post this one, let us know how your 2020 was, even if it was absolute garbage, because the whole year was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it was and the election year falling on this too, because then that just added to the tension of everything, which is not helpful.
For a majority of us, the election ended well.
Yes.
As long as, a certain someone gets inaugurated in 30 days.
Like, whether you're Republican or Democrat, it's whatever, but just something doesn't sit right with me supporting Trump as like a human and his ideologies in general. But I'm not going to get too far into that.
We don't have to.
But Biden's a pretty moderate pick. I feel like he'll try to appease both sides. Yep. So, and all he needs to do is just get us all vaccinated and get rid of the corona.
Money. Yep. Get them money. The ones who are actually suffering, get them help.
Yep.
Because
even worse off than us, and we only make
right?
We make below 60,000 here.
Combined.
Yeah.
Combined. We are not a 60K household.
No.
Like that's another issue I have with our society. That can be another topic.
That's a whole nother.
My issues with society as a whole.
And government.
Society. Everything in this country. But everything has flaws. Everything has pros and cons. But hopefully our next podcast will be much more happier.
Yeah, it'll be more upbeat. I think. Did we have scheduled a spooky one, or were we doing a little bit more?
This one will be. It's not our normal spoopy local tale, but it'll be something that I think is important and kind of ties all the spoopies.
Okay, I can't remember
to a higher level.
On.
So
yeah, and then I think the following week is gonna be the regular spoopy.
Yeah, at least once a month we gonna have spoopy.
Yes,
spoopy story.
Keeping the spoopy.
Yep.
Always a little spoopy sprinkled in.
You won't be able to see my spooked expressions,
No.
but hopefully on the Patreon you'll see my spooked
we
expressions.
might post some nice ones if we do catch any.
Yes. So we'll see you on, when's this will be posted obviously before 2021.
Yep, I think we're slotted for the 28th. Week after that'll be after the New Year, so probably the 4th.
And you are listening, you are fantastic.
Yes.
And we love you.
We love you. Thank you for the support.
And then we'll see you in 2021.
Yeah, in the new year. Hopefully it's better than this one.
I hope it's,
manifest what you want.
Yeah, see, we gotta manifest.
It's the age of Aquarius. You can do whatever you want to do.
Oh.
Girls, gays, and theys. Everybody. You can do what you want.
Yes.
But thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry we took a break throughout the entirety of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So we apologize for that. If anyone was,
Sorry to our family that listens to this.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
Mostly.
But
well, Ben, do you want to say goodbye to the people too?
I think that was good enough.
Thank you.
Okay. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.